Welcome to a new stream we're going to be having on Fridays, talking about NXT and TNA. I'm Tafari.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm doing what we wound up having to do I'm CK.
There you go.
I'm Knight Rider.
And
now we're kind of making sure everything's working the way it's supposed to work. You want to put us? There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, like he said, we're trying this. That's why we're a little bit early, because we're gonna try to run down two different shows, and both of them being like 2-hour shows. We're doing 4-hour shows.
Yeah.
Or like a 4-hour show per se instead of a 3-hour show, and we usually run about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of trying to see if we can still do it in 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I'm good with that. If we wind up having to move the Friday stream to 3 hours, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. But we start off with Liv and Raquel.
Well, NXT happened 4/22/25, so we're gonna go ahead and get that out of the way. But I want to bring something up. And I didn't put this in the notes, but WrestleMania weekend, WWE, there's been big talk that they were disappointed in NXT and how it performed on Tuesday because they said the crowd wasn't as engaged as they thought they should have. Here's my thing, and it goes to being WrestleMania weekend, and they had Monday, and then they had Tuesday in Vegas. They're talking
Hey Google,
about
turn off speaker.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Hey Google, turn off speaker.
I was
Turning off speaker.
But here's the thing, they're talking about pulling NXT, doing the Stand and Deliver like in New Orleans for next year, where it's going to be. They'll do their Stand and Deliver like they always do their big pay-per-view. But then NXT stars will go back to the Performance Center.
I think that makes sense simply because that is a lot of wrestling in the same place.
Well, and they said that it felt like they weren't engaged with it because they'd already been there. You figure
Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Thursday technically because TNA was there Thursday.
Yeah, so
they were there
Friday.
Thursday. Yeah,
damn
almost
near
a week.
Yeah, so for them to not be as engaged on Tuesday makes sense because.
But again, like we have said countless times, and I'm just gonna bring this up now. NXT
is just better.
It's so much better.
It should be their flagship show. The other two should inspire to be this good. But we'll get into that as we kind of progress because we've talked about that several times kind of on here. But so we had NXT 4/22/25, and it starts off with Liv and Raquel versus Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley.
And we said it from the get-go. They are not ready for these NXT girls.
But you know what? They still wound up winning.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I mean, it was just, they were back and forth. And here, it just goes to we said, like you just said, NXT is, I hate to say it, the bar.
Better. They're just better. In every regard. The matches,
And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and bring this up right now. I was going to wait a little bit, but I'm going to bring this up now. And it's kind of funny, but you kind of brought it up, so I already know your answer. I know his answer already. But I just want to prove I did not plan this. This is nothing. Neither one of them know the question I'm about to ask. But we have talked about this question. If somewhere somebody came down and said, okay, fine. Don't say it until, we're not going to count to 3. If somebody came down and said you were only allowed to watch one wrestling show for the rest of your life, on the count of 3, who would all 3 of us pick? 1, 2, 3. NXT.
Yep, NXT.
It's not even close.
It's not even close. Like if they said you can only watch one wrestling show for the rest of your life.
I'm sorry, it's going to be NXT.
They're just a better product. Their stories are better.
And the sad part.
And I want to bring this up too, and we're going to get to what you were going to say in a second. But I want to bring up something, and something that we'll get to more in depth later. But everybody is. We've said on here several times. Tafari is in boxing. Wants to go into like WWE. Knows it's going to be a while. But what have you said about NXT? I don't want to go up.
I don't even want to go to the main roster. Like, look, I know that the main roster paychecks are better. You have the bigger arenas, yada yada. Who the fuck cares? Everything in NXT is simply better. The matches, the promos, even the recaps are better. Which doesn't even make sense, but they are.
Because they don't spend time, they're like, this is what happened, move on.
Yep, they don't waste time. They just
instead we get
they make
5
points
20-minute
shit.
promos about the pissing contest between Seth, Roman, and CM Punk. But anyway,
but yeah,
we're gonna get into the match. Like I said, they weren't ready for it. I mean, like I said, but I wanted to bring up something that I thought was interesting. I think it was Corey Graves that said it. That it was Liv's first match in NXT since 2017. 8 years she's been on the main roster.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool to have her kind of go back and as champion, but still, like we said,
I feel like any of the women from NXT could come up and whoop her ass.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not me throwing shade at Liv Morgan. She's a phenomenal wrestler.
But just in general,
the NXT superstars, whether you're male or female, are just better.
Yes.
Like I'm gonna throw this out there, but you know what? And we might have some disagreements in it, but I know it'd be one hell of a match. Oba versus Breaker.
Ooh, yeah.
I know they're both like big beastie, like the badasses.
That would be one hell of a fight.
Yes,
I
it would
wouldn't
be.
even know who to
That's
go.
like Godzilla versus
I wouldn't know who to go
Kong,
for
right
either.
No, Godzilla vs. Kong was a fucking cakewalk. That's not even close. that is
disaster.
Anyway, let's get to the match.
Like I said, so it was a good match. There was lots of action, lots of back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
They again, like I said, Liv and Raquel won, but I'm gonna tell you what.
By the skin of their teeth.
Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley did not make it a cakewalk.
No, it was, like I said,
they did not go in and hand it to them. They fought for it. I mean, they got Cemetery Drive in, and then of course Liv and Raquel.
Yeah, they were cheating. So I mean, that's just what you gotta expect from them at this point. But even with them cheating, they were this close to losing those titles.
Like I could honestly see. Like them going up to the main roster for even a one-off.
And taking the
titles. And walking away. Like, they were that close.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then, I think we kind of brought this up during the other one, or when we were talking about TNA.
Yeah.
Or NXT. Stand and Deliver. Lexus King was backstage with Penn and Teller. They had made his Heritage Cup vanish.
Yep.
So he's like backstage, and he's like, wow, amazing. You guys are just so great. The magic thing. Penn's like, thank you. And Lex is like, you made my cup disappear, so why don't you bring it back? Because the king, I kind of need my Heritage Cup.
And Penn's like, yeah, we'll bring it back, but we have a couple conditions here. First of all, you have to admit that we can do magic, and you need to apologize.
And Lex is like, if that's the case, magic is clearly very, very real. Bring this back. And bring this back. And he points at Teller
and Penn's like, you didn't let me finish. You also have to defend it tonight.
And he's like, dude, come on. I've been in Vegas all weekend. I think you saw this weekend. I've been training. I've been doing Vegas stuff.
And Penn's like, you have to defend it or you don't get it back.
Deal.
Yep.
And Penn goes, okay, I'll bring it back. Now, once again, now, you know the deal. You have to admit that magic, look at the camera, and say magic is real.
Yep, and Penn's like, they are magic and magic is real.
Alexis is like, they are magic and...
Yes, Lexus. Names are hard. Shh.
And then Penn goes, and you have to defend it tonight. Ready for that? And Lex is like,
I guess, okay, sure.
and then showing your trophy. And then we can show you your trophy. You ready, Lexus? I guess.
Mm-hmm.
There she is, my baby.
Oh.
Pin's like, there it is, right there. Awesome. And Pin's like, remember.
Happy to have you defending it tonight. And Lex is like, against who? And Penn's like, oh, it's a surprise.
Which I thought, again, this took like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
But it was, you were like.
You knew what was happening. It told the story it needed to, and it moved on. On the main roster, this would have been 5 minutes.
Yeah.
If not more.
We had him searching for 10 minutes. I'm like, are you sure you don't know where it's at? It would have been chaos. And then we had
the no quarter catch crew.
Well, we had one of them backstage, and it was Bryn Sinclair.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I don't know what. Ugh. I don't know. They don't ask.
Yeah, because they were talking about blood sport and
Yeah.
how a few of the competitors from NXT
And
had been there.
Bryn Sinclair's like, actually, like you can, and then Dark State shows up, and like you can't handle no blood sport fool. Okay, you ain't no real shooter like your boy Tavon Miles Bourne.
I think it's like Tavion, and
Tavion,
then
Miles Bourne, yeah.
Yeah,
Tavion.
Miles Bourne says, and your teammate's number 2. Dark State, number 2, boys. I think it'd be best if the no quarter catch crew just went their separate ways now before we gotta break them apart like we did the D'Angelo family.
And Miles is like, how about when my crew gets back, we give you guys a run for your money. And Javon Evans shows up.
And he's like, well, after Saturday, I'm ready for a fight, so what's up?
And Dark State goes, man, how many times we gotta beat you down for you to learn? You win this by yourself. You ain't got no backup.
And Miles says, Javon's not fighting this one alone. Here, I got you. How about we see how a 2-on-2 goes? And Dark State says, okay, we will see. And Javon's like, I'll go talk to Ava.
And again,
Minute and a half, 2 minutes.
We talk about, Nick Aldis. We talk about Adam Pearce.
Yeah.
Ava's always in the talk. She's always around.
We see her every single week,
or
multiple times a week.
at least hear about her if she's not on. Like, she's actively doing stuff.
Yeah, every single
Exactly.
week.
That and the other guy on TNA. Actually pretty good too.
Santino Morello, we'll get into him.
Yeah,
I love
he's
Santino. He is absolutely a beautiful disaster. He's always been a beautiful disaster, and I freaking love him.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ricky Saints comes to the ring.
And he's like, wow. Because, the crowd is chanting.
Ricky.
And he's like, and he loves you back, baby. Going off of that, I kicked off WrestleMania weekend with a bang when I successfully defended the North American Championship against a man who is forever going to be a thorn in my side. And that is you, all ego Ethan Page. Yeah, my mom agrees as well. But the world watched this week when we had a historic 2-night of WrestleMania. But it was at Stand and Deliver that I made good on my promise that I said since I stepped foot here at NXT. Everything that I've said, I've turned into reality. I am the man around here, as you can tell. And man, Stand and Deliver was surreal. But it felt so good to do it against you, Ethan Page. My way, my life. And then the spray-on, beard-having motherfucker Lexus King shows up.
And he's like, hold your horses, brother. Look, I know you just had a historic win at Stand and Deliver. I've
Get down off the counter.
My whole weekend running all over Vegas looking for my precious Heritage Cup. All because those clowns, Penn and Teller, made it disappear right before my eyes. And Ricky goes, hey, good for you, Lexus. But I have no clue what this has to do with me. I'm out here simply putting on a show. I'm just confused on why you're out here right now.
And Lexus comes back and he says, Ricky, I've actually got business out here. So before you try and cut me off and take up my ring time, I'm defending my Heritage Cup tonight. And if you don't get out of here, I might set my sights on that North American title as well.
And Ricky's like, oh, we're doing this again? That's so funny because last week you lost the 4-way. So you don't have a shot. And it seems to me your mouth keeps writing checks that your little ass can't cash.
Lexus comes back, he says, I love a lot of things, Ricky, but I don't love smug, arrogant pricks like you who think they can get over with this gullible audience. Newsflash, brother, nobody likes you. They love the king, okay? You're a legend in your own mind. Delusions of grandeur fill your brain. And if you're so confident, Ricky, why don't you give me what I want then? Why don't you put that North American title on the line next week against me? And no. I don't mean 3 or 4 other guys. I don't mean a little 4-way to stack the odds against me. I've had enough of that here in Vegas, okay? So how about it? You and me. You know what? I'll even put my cup on the line against you. And we'll make it a double championship match. Ricky Saints versus Lexus King, cup versus title, 1 fall.
And Ricky's like, I'm going to put it to you like this. You are a very special individual. I'm sorry. He was even kind of giggling at this moment.
Yeah.
He's like, you are a special individual.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, the fact that you're even worried about me right now when you have a mystery opponent is very telling. And since I already know what you want and already went and talked to Ava about it, I guess we're on.
Mm-hmm. And then...
And
once again, how long was this? Like 10 minutes at most?
yeah, and that was both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, and then I love this. This is great. I actually think I found a video to this, but I told you not to do it. But it was so funny. So it's on our Discord. If you didn't watch it, or go back and watch the whole thing. But Hank and Tank are backstage with Soruka and Zarya, and Tank is trying to figure out he doesn't want to wear it on his waist because that's too normal.
Yeah, he says I don't know. The shoulder doesn't really feel right, but I think I can make the thigh work.
And Hank's like, I don't know, traditional? Tank's
Yeah,
like, come on. And then Thea Hale comes in and she like jumps into Hank's arms like, yeah!
Congrats, you guys, congrats. So if it was going to be anyone other than me winning that ladder match, it was you. But I want to do another one. It was so chaotic. There were people climbing the ladder, bodies flying everywhere. You're snatching souls. And then Jada Parker comes up and she's like, girls, please just run. After the night that I had, the last thing I need is your energy. I do not miss you or your annoying self for the last 6 months. Go somewhere.
And of course, she was talking to Thea Hale, which I'm going to tell you what. I watched her when she was in Chase U. The little bit that I did kind of hit and miss with NXT. She's jacked.
I believe it.
Like, from where she was being the little girl,
yeah.
now she is.
Now
like,
she's that.
She's got some
muscle on her, okay.
She's got some fight.
I want her
muscle.
to go against Jada. I want her to beat the living snot out of Jada just to shut her up. But anyway.
Oh, excuse me.
And then Kalani shows up. And she goes, I actually agree. You're going to learn real quick. This ain't the same locker room you left a few months ago.
And then Fallon Henley?
Henley.
Okay, I was just making sure. I didn't think my life could get any worse. But then you showed back up. And Fallon's talking to JC Jane. She says, you need to put her in her place.
And I love this.
JC comes back and says, not my problem. You want something done? Then you can do it yourself. They both walk away. And Fallon says, well, you never could, so I guess I will.
But like I said, I feel like that fatal influences.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. The quake is beginning. Mm-hmm. It kind of like what we said about Judgment Day. You can feel that quake. Mm-hmm. Like, it's...
And I know I keep bringing this up, but how long did this take? 3, 4, 5 minutes?
I think it was like 2.5.
And I know I keep bringing that up, but I keep bringing it up because you were even talking about it Tuesday, Wednesday.
But here's my thing. Again, I want to bring this up. These stories are so engaging.
Yes.
You're locked into these stories. You're hanging on every single word that is being said.
But here's the thing.
And with Raw and SmackDown, again, I'm not trying. I love wrestling. Okay, I love WWE, but whoever's writing for NXT
needs to be writing for the main roster.
Exactly.
The main roster, whoever's writing for them, needs to go. Hey, help us figure this out.
And here's the thing, because I know you were even talking about on Tuesday and Wednesday when you were going over NXT. In 2 hours, we got what? 5 or 6 matches.
And good matches.
Yeah, great matches. And then I think you said like 20 individual little promos.
Well, it was like 6 or 7, but still, we have an equal number, which is great. I like the balance.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And here's the thing. All the promos, they further stories, they're engaging, they make sense.
And another thing, I'm going to bring this up here in a few, more so. But the NXT, the stories, and I got both of them up on our Discord. But as a matter of fact, it is a little bit ways down there. But the D'Angelo family, the story, they're almost like little 2-minute movies.
Yeah, it's great. They're not just like them out in the ring. They're like out in the desert or in a hotel room. I know that might sound boring, but it's the content that makes it like,
because you feel like you're part of it.
Yeah.
Like you're like the fly on the wall, sitting there, seeing what's going on. When, again, I think the main roster did that. And here's the thing. How much money they put into NXT that they can't put into the main roster?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't get it.
Because the main roster, I might be more engaged, and I'm going to throw this out there, and it might be completely off, but it's not what I'm trying to do. It's just grabbing a match.
Yeah.
The John Cena and Cody thing. If they would do, have them out to dinner, or, and say, John Cena shows up at the dinner that Cody's sitting there with maybe Brandy or something.
Fuck, I know
it would be better than in the ring, you're a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, I remember we got something like that when Cody was tagging with Roman, them out in the football field and talking.
That was better.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty damn good promo. But we don't get that anymore.
That's a one-off. This is every week.
Yep, exactly.
But again, then Lexis King is out in the ring. Because all this has kind of happened while Alexis was still out there.
Yeah.
And then Noam Dar comes back. And he's been gone for, what they say, a year? Almost
something
a year?
Like that. And Noam Dar was
the original Heritage Cup champion.
The longest reign. I think they said 700 and something days.
Yeah, 700 and something days, yeah. I don't have it written down. I wanted to write it down, but I didn't.
When he was last here, the Heritage Cup was still defended using the Heritage Cup rules.
Which I do actually have in there if you want to.
They're so much more interesting. The Heritage Cup was originally defended under British round rules in NXT, which were a set of rules inspired by boxing and characterized by a multi-round format with wins awarded by pinfall, submission, knockout, or disqualification. Specifically, matches were 6 3-minute rounds with the winner taking 2 out of 3 falls. Yeah,
taking 2, they would get 2 falls.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, if they tied 3 and 3, then the current champion retained.
Yeah,
and they had a minute rest in between
each round.
Yeah, that is so much more interesting than it's another match and another title.
And the Heritage Cup was turned into another basically title.
Yeah, by our current. Well, not longer.
Current, but yeah.
By
Lexis King, because he didn't want to defend it that way.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping Noam Dar brings it back to the original way it was, because Noam Dar actually wanted to win it. And like I said, it was still a good match. What I thought was funny, and I think it is on the Discord.
Yeah, he tries to wipe off.
I don't know. I don't think it. No, I didn't clip it on there. I clipped it, but I didn't have it.
Well, it was great because he literally has him down on the ground
and
like a choke.
Looking at but it was funny.
You know what the funny? I really wish part of it would have come up.
It would have been great. I loved it.
Well, yeah, it was.
But again, like I said, it was a good match. It really went back and forth. And that's the thing with NXT. They're always that way.
Yeah. And even the matches that aren't great, like Lexus King is a wrestler. At least from what we've seen so far. He's
And you know what?
But
the
this
thing
match...
is, his heritage, he should be better. Because if you don't know, and I'm not sure how many of you watch this that are like big wrestling fans, but he is technically the son, which I do not know his real name, but he is technically the son of Brian Pillman, who I was actually there at Bad Blood the day it was announced that Brian Pillman had died of an overdose. They didn't say overdose at the time.
Yeah, they just said that he had passed away.
He had passed away in his hotel room.
But still, I feel like Lexus King being an wrestler is more character than him actually. Like, he's probably great.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Every single superstar in NXT.
And he's not a bad wrestler, by no stretch.
No.
The character is bad.
Yeah, the character isn't
and
a great
I don't
wrestler.
mean that as in... The character is great.
But the character isn't a great wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Same thing with Chelsea Green. Like, Chelsea Green is probably a great wrestler, but Chelsea Green, the character, isn't a great wrestler.
Yeah.
But yeah. Dolan Nar wins the match. He gets Noam Dar gets the NXT Heritage Cup back. So I'm hoping the next time, hopefully next week, we see it defended. They go back to the original rule set. Because I just think that's so much more interesting.
Yes.
They were engaging to watch it. It was neat to see because you were trying to keep track of the rounds and who won the rounds.
Because otherwise, it is literally just another title, but it's a cup instead. Anyway.
Then we get to another backstage. And the thing is, I don't mind just... These aren't like the... I know we keep saying this, but these aren't like the Raw and SmackDown where you're like, we had another backstage. These are actually telling part of a story.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
But we have Perez backstage with Sarah Schreibman, or I couldn't get her last name. They said it was on screen, but anyway, so she's backstage with the interviewer, Sarah, whatever her last name is. I'll work on getting her actual name. And she says,
Roxanne Perez, at the end of Stand and Deliver, you got in the face of the NXT Women's Champion, Stephanie Vakir. Perez, go ahead.
And Perez goes, she's not going to claim the division that I built.
And Sarah's like, well, then last night you interfered in the match between Stephanie and Io on Raw.
Because the Raw after Mania was supposed to be my moment. But no, it was Stephanie. So what did I do? I ruined the moment that I deserved. And it felt so good. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't even know that Julia had the same idea as me. But if Stephanie has a problem about it, then maybe she should do something tonight. But she won't. Because Stephanie's not at 100%. She's tired. She's drained. And I've been there. The media, the matches, the interviews, the appearances. I know that. Because I had to defend my NXT Women's Championship 48 hours after Stand and Deliver. But if I was anything but the Prodigy, the Slammy Award-winning NXT Superstar of the Year, I would have lost. But unfortunately for Stephanie, I'm the Prodigy. And she may have walked into Vegas as champion, but I'm going to walk out the 3-time NXT Women's Champion.
Mm-hmm. But like I said, I don't know. I don't think Perez has been watching NXT. Because she clearly did not see Stephanie Vakir defend 2 titles in the same night after getting jumped.
We've said it before. And I don't know if we've said it on this stream. We might have said it during Stand and Deliver. That girl built different.
She is made... I don't know what the fuck she's made out of, but it is some
like,
tough
what did
shit.
you say?
She would make Wolverine and Deadpool blush. Because they ain't got shit on her.
And what did I say? They doing a... I know she's from, like, South America, Argentina, Chile, something like that. I know Black Widow is from Russia, but you want a real Black Widow? You put her in there.
I'd buy it.
Because this girl is built different.
She is, yeah.
I could see her going in there with, like, every martial art ability, being able to shoot any weapon, whatever, just pick it up like, ooh, a gun. boom, 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 boom.
And here's the thing, I hate to say it.
Hey, we got a black Nick Fury that changed the comic book. Stephanie McCure changed the comic book. Black Widow is now from South America. End of story. Anyway,
Look, all I'm saying is, I don't know if there's a single, I say this, though I don't know if there's a single woman on the NXT and definitely not on the main roster that can take that title from her.
No.
you know they're gonna move her up eventually, and somebody's gonna have to.
Yeah, I get that, but Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley,
But you
Io
know what?
Sky.
Here's my thing, and this might go to a problem with this, but I don't want her to be another Asuka. And the reason I say that is because you weren't really watching it.
But I know about...
She vacated the title to move to the main roster, which means she had never lost.
Mm-hmm. And then she got to the main roster.
She got to the main roster,
and Charlotte
Flair got her first loss.
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie needs to be better than that. And I know it's storyline. But what I'm saying is, let's not do that to Stephanie.
Honestly, here's the thing. She already had to vacate one title because she was too good.
That is true.
So I can 100% see her having to vacate her title to move up. I think that's what she deserves, honestly. She doesn't get beat for it. She just says, you can have the title. I'm going to the big boys. Yeah. Big girls, whatever. You get the point. But yeah, then we get Fallon versus Thea Hale. And this is a great match.
Yeah, it was. It was great until...
It wasn't.
Until Fatal Influence does their little BS. I mean, it was back and forth. Thea was handing it to her. Fallon was being Fallon and like...
Fallon, honestly, Thea...
Fallon was holding her own, but yet still what I'm saying
Thea was whooping her ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Fallon is a good wrestler, but Thea, like I said, and maybe I'm just partial on her because I really think she's come a long way from Chase U, you know, when I was watching it. But Jasmine Nix distracts the ref while Jane goes to kick Thea. She misses, Fallon hits her, then Thea headbutts JC.
Then Thea pulls Fallon back in the ring, punches Nix, then puts Fallon in a Kimura lock. Fallon taps out. Thea wins.
But like I said, it was good.
It was a great match.
And I like to see that even then, you know, Fallon loses.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's more of that.
Oh yeah, even with the hell, especially since they were hitting each other.
And again, this is why we're covering this, because they actually go to TNA. So we have another match from them from last night. But anyway, we'll get to that. And this is something I 100% agree with. And Corey Graves said it before Oba comes out, or as Oba was coming out. Corey Graves said that the Oba Femi, Javon Evans, and Trick Williams match stole the show for WrestleMania weekend. And Tafari, I'm going to call you out on this. What did you say? Stand and Deliver just stole the damn show.
Yeah,
period.
Exactly.
Actually, to be fair, there wasn't much of a show to steal, but they stole it anyway.
Exactly.
Stand and Deliver stole the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And this match, 100% A+.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, could it have been better? Probably. Could it have been... but hear me out. Everything else on the roster, or everything else on the main roster...
It couldn't have been much worse.
It couldn't have been much worse.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, maybe this match could have been better. But with the weekend we had with the main roster,
yep,
this match shined.
Yeah.
Like, it shined
exactly.
it shined like a brand new diamond ring.
You know what the sad thing is? These matches were so good. I was like, damn, WrestleMania is gonna have to live up to this, and it didn't.
No, it did not. It sank.
Oba comes out and he says, at Stand and Deliver, I did exactly what I said I was going to do. Trick Williams and Javon Evans had all these dreams and aspirations about dethroning the ruler and becoming the NXT champion at Stand and Deliver. Not on my watch. I took their dreams, I set it ablaze, and I burned it to ashes. And I told them to wake up. I will say, during the build-up to this match, I said a lot of things about Javon Evans. I called him a child. I said he wasn't ready. I said he couldn't hang, and I called him immature. Regretfully so, because the young OG is a lot better than I thought he was. And although his time has not come, his best years are definitely ahead of him. So shout out to the young OG. And I could not agree.
We were applauding during that part because I said it when we were talking about Stand and Deliver. I am not a Javon Evans fan, but
he shined.
He made me go, wait a second. Hold on.
Exactly.
Hold on.
Yep.
Back the bus up. Wait. Maybe he's not that bad.
Exactly.
As for Trick Williams, I have no love for Williams. I cannot stand him. But I will say,
he's too cocky for his own good.
As good as he is, as great as he is, the ruler is just that much better. Then Trick Williams shows up and is like, no. You know I ain't even going out like that here, Oba. Because every single time it comes to me getting what's mine, Oba, you always find the easy way out. And on Saturday, you only won because you pinned Javon. But to be real, I don't care if it's your birthday. I want my title back.
And here's the thing, and I'm going out on a limb, but you know who Trick Williams is sounding like? Mr. Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, Drew McIntyre.
Every time I get close, you fuck it up.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Guess what?
Be better.
Yeah. If you want your title back, you should have won the triple threat match.
Be better. But go ahead.
Oba comes back and says, William, I gave you your flowers. I told you I was done. What more do you want? And Trick comes back and is like, nah, I want my one-on-one. Look, I know regular Joe. I'm Trick Williams. I'm the man here. I'm the face of this brand. When you think about NXT, you think about me. You don't think about no Oba, do you? Your mama like him? Look, I'm tired of running the plate. I'm tired of letting people butt in. I'm tired of people like you stealing and fumbling my opportunities. I've seen all these bums in the back get whatever they want. And then
Wrestling Jesus!
Joe Hendry. Say his name and Joe Hendry.
Say
His name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Yeah.
I think he says his name somewhere in here. I just don't think we got it in the.
No.
What?
It's in there. But he said.
I could have sworn. Oh, no, I skipped over it. I know regular Joe. Oh, I guess he said Joe.
Trick Williams, you're not the same person I tagged with back in the fall. The rumors are true. You've changed. You used to soak in the cheers, the chants, the fans, and now all you do is soak in self-pity. I proved what happens when you listen to the fans, and I did it at WrestleMania. And Trick, I'm going to tell you, because no one else will, you're not hungry. You're entitled. Did you maybe think the reason you didn't win back the NXT championship was because of you? Did you start to think that maybe, just maybe, Trick Williams is a whiny bitch?
He's speaking truth, but Trick comes back and says, hold on there a minute, man. You had your 5 minutes on Sunday, but since we always talk about what you believe, how about we take a second to talk about what Trick Williams believes? I believe you don't belong here. You're just an outsider. I believe you don't fit in. I believe you got your ass whooped on Sunday. Let's talk about it. How about you do us all a favor? And I believe that you could take that title and go on back to where you belong while the big dog's talking.
And then Joe Hendry is like, you know what? I did lose to the RKO. But I did it in front of 60,000 people at WrestleMania. I was in the ring and you were in the stands. And I will not leave this ring because your TNA World Champion, who by the way will defend the champion at Rebellion this Sunday, well, he has some business to discuss with the NXT champion.
And Oba drops the hardest line I've ever heard. Don't make the same mistake Moose did. And, well, he doesn't have to say anything else. That's just...
And then Trick gets between them. He's like trying to push them apart because he thinks that they're like getting ready to like throw this match down. And again, he's going to lose out of the match.
Yeah. And then Joe's like, fuck that. Boom! And then Oba on the other side. Boom! And they just start teeing off on him. They pick him up and they toss his bitch ass outside.
And then they both just kind of look at each other and then they look at Trick.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it said everything it needed to do and it did it in like 8 minutes.
Yeah. Once again, I know we keep bringing it up because...
This would have been like a half hour.
Yeah. It's all compacted. We get more story, more matches in 2 hours than we get in 2.5 to 3 hours on the main roster, and I don't understand.
But this is what I was getting to too.
Oh.
The Stacks promo.
Mwah.
You got this desert team, you got this car like racing through the desert. This like, and it doesn't even matter the color, but this red car racing through the desert was absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see Lucia get out of the car. Stacks is just kind of standing there.
And he says, Lucia, thanks for meeting me here.
And Lucia's like, Stacks, what the hell are you thinking? You and Tony go back to childhood. You know, many times you've been in a pinch, and somehow, some way, Tony saved your ass. The bond you guys have. You guys went from the streets to champions. Tony made you the underboss. You pledged your loyalty. You need to make this right. You need to sit down.
And Stacks just looks at him. He's like, do you know why I invited you out here?
And Lucia's like, oh. And it just fades to black.
Yep. Because if you don't know, like we said, the D'Angelos, they're basically the mob of NXT. And if you don't know what happens when the mob invites you out to the desert, well...
You don't come back.
Ain't nobody finding you.
You don't come back.
Yeah, pretty much.
You getting buried out in the middle of the desert, let the scorpions, the snakes, and everything do their business.
Yep, pretty much. Then we cut to Sol and Zarya backstage, and Sarah, what's the
interviewer.
Word? Yeah, the interviewer. That's the word I'm looking for. She said, I'm joined by two of the women who competed in the grueling ladder match at Stand and Deliver. And as we know, Stand and Deliver is Zarya and the new NXT Women's North American Champion, Sol Ruka.
And she's like, thank you, Sarah. Now, all 6 women in the ladder match were booming. And I was exhausted. But it was so exciting. And I'm so proud to be holding this title. And then you have Liv and Raquel show up.
And Liv says, and Zarya, you came close. Your best friend's a double champion.
Which, hold on, wait a second. Because she is the Speed Women's Champion, which is on X.
Yeah.
So that was the 2.
Your best friend's a double champion, and Raquel and I are the history-making, record-breaking, first ever 4-time women's tag team champions. And you don't have a thing. But I have a good idea. Maybe your buddy over here can give you one of her titles. That way you don't feel left out, right?
And Raquel's like, that's a good idea.
Liv's like, yeah, that's a good idea.
And then Sol's like, I see through both of you, okay? Nothing is going to come between me and Zaruka, which is their names combined. So I suggest you guys walk along before I decide I want my 3rd title in my collection.
And Liv's like, we're going to keep going.
And then Raquel's like, she thinks she can take our title.
And Liv's like, we've got to get out of here. Because, like I said, they're not ready for these NXT girls. Because,
and then, yeah.
Look, all I'm going to say, it wouldn't.
And Zarya, we talk about Thea Hale. Mm-hmm. We talk about Jordan Grace. We talk about Bianca. Zarya? She up there, man. This girl built.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, if they went up against Zaruka, I think that's their tag team name, right? They would not be champions anymore.
I would like to see Zarya go up against Raquel.
Oh, yeah. That'd be a great... Oh, so good. Hopefully we get it. I mean, it seems like I feel like they're pushing NXT quite a bit now. Because like we said, they're trying to get it up to be a 3rd brand, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. So
that's some of the rumors that they're wanting it to be a third brand to where people, I guess, can stay there.
Yeah.
Because it was originally like 2 years, and they had to kind of make a decision to move you up, and it's like you said, I don't want to move up.
No, fuck that. Why would I want to move to Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown?
When I'm just gonna get buried.
Exactly, and that's the thing too. I feel like everybody on here, even if you're in the background, you're still getting something. Whereas on the main roster, we see, like Bailey or Otis and Tozawa.
Yeah.
They come out there, they get beat up by Rusev so he can make his grand debut, and then we're not going to see them again for 2-3 months.
Yep. But then we have Javon and Miles Bourne from No Quarter Texture.
You skipped over the Trick.
Oh, that's right. Trick Williams. You just see Trick Williams, and I think he hit a camera.
Yeah, because the screen goes like
green, black.
Yeah, like it's like
you still hear him talking, and you still hear stuff throwing, but Trick is throwing stuff backstage, and then you hear Ava's voice because again the screen is like black at this time, and she's like, "Get him out of here! Get him out of here now!"
Because he's being a whiny little bitch.
But you just see him throwing stuff, slamming stuff into things.
And then the camera goes like, bro. And here's the thing: if he actually did break that camera, that's a genuine find. Like those are expensive cameras.
Well, when Punk had it, a couple weeks ago, they said it was like $10,000 or something for one camera.
Yeah, I believe it. Like those ain't no baby. Cameras you're gonna go and get at Walmart.
Those ain't the little pocket held.
No, them
you get for like
those the full. Them the good boys. Anyway, then we get over to Javon and Miles Bourne versus Dark State, Dion Lennox, and Osiris Griffin. And like you said, great match. Javon is still impressing, bouncing all over the place, doing his high flying, his kicks. And here's the thing. Dark State, if you don't know anything about Dark State, they some big ass, mean ass boys. All 4 of them.
Yeah.
Like they all like 6 foot plus. Like
I don't know if they're all 6 foot, but
I'm pretty sure they're all 6 foot.
But they're pretty big.
Yeah, they big ass boys. I'm pretty sure 3, if not all 4 of them, were like quarterbacks. Running backs in the not the NFL, but like college. Some of them were in the NFL.
I think Osiris Griffin was. I think that's what they said.
These are not slouches. They are all dangerous in their own right, and all 4 of them together are even more so.
But yeah, I mean, and the match was going, and like I said, it was good. Like Javon was doing his high flying. They were catching him, throwing him.
That's the thing is he can do his high flying stuff and it works, but they was like, nah, bitch, boom.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Like I said, it was good. And then No Quarter Catch Crew, which I actually respected. They showed up and they kind of just stood on the stage. They didn't come down the ramp. They didn't do anything.
But you know what? I'll give Miles Bourne his props too. I know we didn't talk about him much because we haven't seen much out of him, but he was doing pretty good too. Showing off his power.
Yeah.
He had some high flying stuff in there too. So
like I said, the No Quarter Catch Crew, even we, and like I said, we've been watching for roughly a month to 2 months, kind of getting our feet into it, kind of learning the characters, learning the stories, before we kind of brought this up. No Quarter Catch Crew is kind of, they're not in the background, but they've had like a couple of matches, and I'm hoping this kind of brings them
back into
the fold so we can kind of learn them a little bit more.
Exactly.
But anyway, but again, like I said, the match is good. Javon jumps out like over the top rope. Osiris Griffin catches him and then slams him into the apron.
Yeah. Lennox
Lennox and slams
Bourne into the ring tags?
Ring tags Griffin.
Oh, yeah.
Then tags Osiris, and they double team him, slam him to the ground.
Dark State wins. Like I said, they haven't lost a single match since getting here, and I don't see them losing for a long time. Because they are, like I've said, they are some big-ass, mean-ass motherfuckers.
And then I left this in there because the announcers actually bring it up that Trick has been escorted out of the building.
Then we go...
Actually, you know what? I'm going to bring this up because he was actually escorted out of the building and never came back.
Yeah.
Like, it was just really... I was like, where's Trick going to show up? What are you gonna? You announced that he's officially been
escorted out of the building. And he
escorted out
stayed
of
at
the
the
building.
building.
And how many times have we heard that?
They've been
Yep.
escorted out of the
Exactly.
building, and then they come back in the main event and attack people. Yeah.
So
I mean,
I don't want to bring that
Exactly.
up. And then you get Ava and Sean Spears backstage, and Ava's like, or Sean's like, Ava, I just hope you understand how much I truly value your time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking out for my friends.
And she's
All
like,
right.
all right, I get it, Sean.
And then Imihara shows up, and he's like, and this was hard even for the speech thing, so I kind of had to try to get this because his
accent
was really like messing with even this one that he's been using. So I tried to fix it as best I could. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but he goes, "Hey, was I interrupting something?" He was like, "No."
You know, it's the first show after Stand and Deliver. People are just, you know, coming in here complaining, stuff like that.
And then Imihara is like, "Don't they know how good they have it? Certainly not what I want to do. My time is coming to an end before going back to Japan. I just want to thank you."
Abe was like, "You're welcome. It's been an honor to have you here. You know, you deserve more respect." And, you know, he's like starting to tear up, and she's like, "Inamura, what's wrong? Are you okay?"
And then, no, he goes, "Briggs and I almost won tag team champion. I know, but Briggs..."
And, yeah, Briggs comes in. He's like, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? And Ava at this point, she's like, "You know what? Another opportunity. Next week, you guys are going to take on Hank and Tank for the tag titles. How does that sound? You think you're up for that, Inamura?" And he's like, "Yes, thank you.
And then Ava's like, "Good luck, guys." And then Briggs...
Yeah, she walks away, and
Briggs is like, "Thank you. How the hell did you just do that? Are you okay?"
And Inamura just looks up with this shit-eating grin, and he's like, "Old Japanese secret."
And Briggs is like, "My man."
Yep.
And again,
I believe it.
I hate to keep harping on it,
But
you were
A plus.
like generally like,
Yeah. Like,
exactly, you're glued to the TV.
It's sad.
Yeah, it is, but it's only the truth. I mean,
and then we get to the Tony promo,
Yep,
the
and
Tony D'Angelo promo,
And he goes up
which
to
he's walking through like this, I guess hotel,
Yeah.
and you see him like he knocks on this door, and he goes, "Riz, open up, it's me. You gonna let me in?"
And Riz like peeks the door open, and she's like, "You follow you here?"
And he's like, "No, it's safe. It's just me. You all right?" And Riz goes, "Yeah, I'm just finishing packing. Can't believe Sex did that. I'm good physically, but you know, you heard from Lucia?"
And Tony's like, "What? You haven't heard it from him? He said he was going to clear his head, but that was a couple hours ago."
And then,
Oh, and Tony's like, "Me and Stax, we're gonna have to go to war on this one."
and Riz is like, "D, it's really like that? You guys grew up together. I mean, you've been through a lot. I remember growing up, Big Ange used to bully me. Stax was the one who taught me to fight. She made me cry every day until one day, I made her cry. And I told Stax that I'd always be loyal."
And Tony comes back. She's like, "Riz, people change, and he hasn't been right for a while now."
And then Riz is like, what if I reach out? What if we have a sit down?"
Tony's like, "Look, I appreciate the sentimentality, but I don't trust him. Look, there's two things that we don't stand for, and it's rats and betrayal. Look, I can't sit down with him. He declared war. I can't put you at risk because I don't know what he's willing to do. Adrian, I see you're packing right now, but you can't go home. It's not safe. Look, I got two of our guys downstairs waiting to take you to a safe house. I need you to hide out while this thing blows over."
And Riz is like, "Okay. Are you sure, D?"
And Tony comes back and says, "It's going to be alright, Riz. I hope." He hugs her. That's the end of the promo.
But like I said, do this.
It's like a miniature movie.
Yeah, they were in the hotel room. It wasn't them like her backstage, like getting in her locker.
No, they were like in a hotel room. You know, cinematic lighting, the whole ordeal.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. And once, I keep saying it, this took like maybe 3 minutes.
Exactly.
But it still tells you everything you need to know in that 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, exactly.
And again, you were engaged with it. You knew what you knew. Yep. You were excited to hear the next line.
Exactly.
You're ready for the next part of the story.
Yep. And we cut to backstage.
We got Ricky talking to Sarah, and this actually was really good too. Ricky and Sarah's like, Ricky, what started off as a title versus cup winner take all match against Lexus King is now a match only for your North American Championship next week.
And Ricky's like, it sure is. And I'm actually thrilled for Norma Dar.
Noam Dar.
Okay, it's spelled weird.
It keeps...
Yeah. I know how it is to be out for close to a year from an injury and feel like you've been forgotten. So if anybody was going to be the Heritage Cup champion, I'm glad that it was Noam? Okay. No. But Ricky, Saints is a man of his word, and I said that I would defend the North American Championship, and guess what? I will. You, Lexus King, you've got everything to gain and nothing to lose, okay?
And then Ethan Page shows up, and he's like, if it wasn't the man that took Noam Dar himself, and Ricky says, if it wasn't the man who took out Noam Dar himself.
And then Lexus King comes out, and he attacks Ricky Saints, and he's like, you cost me my NXT Heritage Cup, so next week I'm going to take your precious title.
And then Ethan just kind of bends down, gets right next to Ricky's ear, and he's like, well, I guess we'll pick this up another time, Ricky. And again, like I said everything you need to say in this much time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We didn't have a 3-hour promo that didn't need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then, one of the coolest things that I think happened, you had the Andre Chase promo. You see somebody walking down this hallway with a briefcase. He opens up a door, turns on the light, opens the briefcase, and it's a Chase U sweater. Mm-hmm. And then you see Andre Chase, and he just holds the sweater up, and he goes, "We're back, baby."
Mm-hmm. So I'm excited for that. Because I didn't get to see the original Chase U, because I wasn't watching the NXT.
He was basically just training up-and-coming wrestlers.
Yeah, I figured that much.
But he was out there, putting on clinics, man. I mean, he was, and that's why I think seeing him the way he's been the past couple weeks, where he's kind of just been like, I can't do it no more. I quit. I'm done. I can't do it. And getting, now I can't think of their names. Their names are my tongue.
Come here.
But anyway, the two guys who've kind of been pushing him along.
His students, yeah.
Yeah, they were kind of like, man,
you got this.
Mr. Chase, you got this.
Mm-hmm.
And, they kind of, and then Thea, I think, coming back last week.
Really pushed him
and
over,
pushed him like, Andre, Mr. Chase, I owe everything to Chase U.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really cool. And then, again, I hate to say this, but probably one of the best matches of the night. And I know they're all good.
Yeah.
But like I said, Stephanie is a whole nother breed, man.
Yeah, she really is. But this match,
a whole different breed.
This match was phenomenal.
I mean, they were back and forth, move for move.
Yeah, countering each other's moves.
It was.
Yeah.
Slipping,
it was a lot of back and
submissions. I know there was one part during the match where they were like 6 or 7 times just turning back and forth, trying to pin each other and reversing.
Yeah, I mean, again, and I know we've said this before, the women on NXT, they're all a different breed.
Mm-hmm. And Stephanie is just a breed above all the rest.
Exactly. Stephanie is a breed all her own.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Stephanie winds up winning with the SBV, which I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if they've ever said what that actually stands for. But then Julia shows up on the stage.
And
Jordan Grace shows up in the crowd,
Yep.
and they're just staring at her. So you know this match is coming down the line.
There's going to be another Fatal 4-Way.
Or a triple threat, something. Maybe with Roxanne in it.
That's why I said Fatal 4-Way, because you
Yeah.
know Perez isn't done.
Well, supposedly she's moving to the main roster, but...
No.
And then we got Hank and Tank will defend next week against Briggs and Imahara, which we already know. They kind of announced that kind of like as they're going off.
And we were exactly at an hour, so we might actually get this done in about 2 hours.
And then we go to TNA. And we have Ace Austin and Trey Miguel versus Moose and JDC, which
the system
of the system, Moose and JDC of the system, which again something that I learned a couple weeks ago when he was on NXT. JDC was Fandango in WWE, which I actually learned something, and I'm gonna wait to tell you because he won't know, but you will, and it fucked me up. But anyway,
and that don't take much.
Oh no, this did. Miguel and JDC, get in the corner. They attack Ace. They trip Moose, and I thought this was great because, like I said, the match was going good, back and forth, beautiful. But Miguel gets in. JDC gets JBC in the corner.
Brett? Come here.
They both get in the ring,
Come here.
or Ace and Trey get in the ring. They trip Moose, and he flies right into the boys.
Yep, headbutts him.
Bam! Right into boys.
And that is a big man with a big ass head.
Going to the boys.
Yep. You're not getting back up after that.
Come
I'm
here.
sorry.
Why you gotta be special?
But Miguel goes into the apron, and Alicia Edwards grabs his leg. Then Moose trips Miguel to the floor. The ref is checking on JDC. Then JDC kicks Miguel, who's on the floor, from in the ring.
With like a baseball slide type
Yeah.
thing.
JDC tags Moose. Then he gets Miguel up and slams him shoulder first into the ring post. JDC gets Miguel in an armbar in the ring. Moose gets tagged in and takes out Ace. Trey finally tags in Ace.
Lay down.
Alicia gets up in the apron to distract the referee while Myers trips Trey. And then JDC pins Trey. The system wins.
And Myers comes down to ringside.
Yeah.
He's another member of the system because the system is the heels and have to cheat to win.
Yeah, they're the best way I could put it is they're what the Authority used to be. With not really, but that's the best.
Yeah.
They're not management, but they're like
What are you
the
doing,
big.
Brad?
Yeah, they're the big bads.
Yeah,
What are you doing,
basically.
Brad?
They're kind of like the Bloodline, except
What are you doing, Brad?
Cooler or better.
Come here.
And the bloodline.
they're like the Bloodline. I'm not gonna say
Anyway.
better or anything, but they're.
Then we got Masha Slamovich, which I know that is spelled completely wrong, but it was trying to get.
Yeah. 10 years of endless sacrifices. We sacrificed everything to chase the dream. 10 years. 10 years! To me having to beat my best friend to win this title, and for what? For me to hear hater after hater, downer after downer, a lot of works, and that bitch, the biggest hater of them all, Tessa. I was born into legacy. I'm not just ending your story. I'm becoming the reason that no one ever tells it again. There are things that go beyond pro wrestling. And you beat up an 83-year-old man. The one man who believes in me. The one man who gave me this life. The one man who made it all real. Is it worth? Tommy Dreamer says, I don't know if we all knew. Oh.
Tommy Dreamer shows up.
Yeah. And he says, I don't know if we all knew what we did when we were signing up for this. But if you say it's still worth it, I don't know what it was like for you to come to this country as a scared little girl, as Johnny used to call you. But I've heard the stories from him. He's so proud of you, just like I am proud of you. We connected from that same man. You've always been special. Life is hard, and this is the realest thing you'll ever have. I defend this for you and for him, and he's prouder of you than you are of me. Don't ever doubt yourself, because they don't either. Obviously referring to the crowd and the TNA universe.
Yeah. Yep.
And then I couldn't remember his name.
Mike
but
Santana.
No. The guy was the one that he brought from his meetings.
Oh,
I can't remember his name. But anyway, so I just said that a guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been on there before, and they only brought him up like for one episode for like maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah, and he says, "I know I'm back at square one, but this time it's gonna be different. Thank you for letting me back in the group, and thank you for not giving up on me. Would anyone else like to share?" And then Mike Santana says, "Yeah, I'd like to share. My name is Group.
My name is Mike.
My name is Mike. The group says, hi, Mike. Mike says, look around this room, and I see strength. I see people who have woken up every day and made a choice. The choice to finally turn around. The choice to finally stop running. The choice to turn around and face those demons head on. Everyone has woken up today and have looked in the mirror and are finally learning how to love and appreciate what's looking back. A great man once talked about hard times, the importance of staying true. Anything that I've done in my life and in my career, I've stayed true to the people, the places, and the things that have gotten me to where I am today. Talked about weakness and about using that weakness to create strength. Talked about weakness and using it to push you forward. That brings me to Ali, a man who's made his presence felt in this very room. Talk about weakness? That's weakness. A man who can't face the truth. A man who wakes up every day and runs. Come to think of it, Ali is the true addict.
To Mike Santana.
Oh, to Mike Santana. He looks at someone like me who has brought himself from the very bottom and rose, and that's going to keep rising. He's obsessed because he can't stand the fact that he can't control himself. What's the definition of an addict? Someone who cannot admit that they have a problem. And another great man also said that sometimes you have to become a monster to fight the monsters in the world. At Rebellion, Ali comes face to face with that monster. Ali comes face to face with the thing that he can't stand. He's going to have no choice. He can't run this time. So, I'll make sure to, at Rebellion, I fight. Fighting is all I know. Fighting is all we know. At Rebellion, I fight for me. I fight for my little girl. I fight for every person that has not made it to this room yet. And I'm going to keep fighting.
And then as he's walking out of the room, they kind of all walk out and like follow him. So
Yeah.
I really hope, and I shouldn't say I hope because I hope, but I don't like see it. But I would like to see all them like
At
ringside, cheering him on.
Well, maybe not even at ringside, but like after the match is over, after he's beaten Ali, they come up and he like maybe they're like he raises their hands with him, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really cool. Because I imagine.
Okay. Go ahead.
Because I was gonna say, I imagine that, assuming these are like actual, because for all we know, these are actors and they never even struck. But I assume these are like actual people from his AA meetings. And if they are, they've probably helped him quite a bit, just as much as he's helped them. So,
yeah,
I think that'd be really cool.
But here's the thing: I want you to do me a favor.
What?
And this is completely spitballing. I mean, this is about what's going to happen right now. But pull up a picture of Ash by Elegance, like the actual character. You see who that is, right?
No.
No. Click on Ash by Elegance. Click on the picture right there, the first one. That's fine. Do you see who that is? That's Dana Brooks.
What the?
I know that name.
She was in WWE as Dana Brooks. She was with Charlotte for a while.
Oh yeah! Holy!
I did not realize that until I actually looked up because I wanted to see who was Ash by Elegance.
Mm-hmm.
But I was looking for the other person, not Ash. Didn't even occur to me who it was.
Yeah. Wow.
But it's Dana Brooke.
Wow. That is.
So and she's going by her real name, which is Ash.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Or Ashley. But
Yep.
Fair enough.
I thought that was really cool. But
Wow.
anyway, we get the by Elegance promo. and we got Heather Reckless
This was
backstage, and she's like, I told you she was going to want to talk to us about it. She's going to be so upset. Oh my God. Oh no. And then the concierge.
He says, okay, ready, okay. Just keep calm. Just keep calm. Okay.
And then they answer
Their little...
Ash.
Yeah. Their little voice...
The
FaceTime.
FaceTime,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what I was trying to think of.
And Ash is like, I just got a DM that you put us in a 4-way match at Rebellion for our tag team championships.
And Heather's like, I'm sorry. Okay, listen. I was under a lot of stress, okay? I had like 10 people talking to me. They were like towering over me. It was a lot. Okay.
And Ash comes back and she's like, what were you thinking? You put us, me, in a 4-way match? Do you even know what that means? Because in a traditional tag team match, we have a 50% chance of winning. 2 teams, 1 winner. And because of your incompetence, now we are one of 4 teams, which means we only have a 25% chance of winning. Oh, and you want to know what the worst part is? Is we don't even have to be pinned to lose our titles. Ridiculous. And she hangs up.
No. We're going to make things good. We're going to make something good out of this.
And the concierge is like, yeah, we're going to make Ash proud. This is an opportunity. We're going to do everything. And I mean everything and anything in our power to be victorious. We cannot lose these belts. We cannot. Ash is going to lose her mind. By any means necessary. Whatever it takes, we need to win this championship. We gotta think about this. We need to concentrate. These guys are such...
Jobbers? I mean, not jobbers, but...
Yeah! Jobbers.
Wow.
He's a new breed. But the whole thing by Elegance is she's supposed to be like hoity-toity, fancy,
Yeah.
rich.
Yep.
Much, yeah. Then we get to JC Jane versus Rosemary. And Fatal Influence failed trying to do the numbers game, jumping on the apron. Rosemary's still keeping control because she keeps like acting like she's gonna spray out the mist.
They call her the Demon Assassin.
Yeah, and last week I believe it was she used the green.
She used the spray on JC Jane.
Yeah. But, you know, as the match progresses, the 3 against Rosemary start. She starts to lose. Rosemary bites JC.
Nick tries to help JC on the apron.
Trying to distract Rosemary. She gets hit off the apron. Then Jude. Go ahead.
JC hits Rosemary, and JC wins.
No, you keep going.
But then Zaya Brookside and Lee Lang come out to help her.
Because they start beating the
they start
shit
beating the shit out of her.
Like the 2 of them hold her up, and the 3rd one just boom, boom, just right in the kisser over and over again. So then,
like I said, again, you guys have to understand that it fixed it, but it's still kind of broken.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of there!
Santino comes out as Fatal Influence is like going up the ramp, and he's like, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to make an announcement at this time. At Rebellion, it's going to be Zaya Brookside, Rosie Marie, and that's how he says it, Lady Lee versus JC Jane, Fallon Henley, and...
Does he say Henry?
Yeah, I think he does.
And Jasmine Nix.
And no, he pauses and he's like, and Jasmine Nix. Thank you. So get ready. And it's his whole accent thing. I just absolutely love it.
He's beautiful.
And then here's the thing. We're gonna bring this up, touch on it, because it really wasn't a match. It was kind of a promo, but it kind of extended over like a commercial.
Yeah, it was. I don't even really know where. Yeah. Oh, this is only 39 seconds. So yeah.
Yeah, the Nimbus show up at the Hardy compound, and like I put it in here. This is just weird, hard to explain. There was like this whole dream sequence. There was like a movie sequence.
It starts off with the Nemeth brothers coming in to the Hardy compound, splitting up, Nick Nemeth.
Yeah, Dolph
like,
Ziggler.
Yeah, I was like, right. His new name is Nick Nemeth.
Well, that's his real name.
Yeah, but he goes in, he beats them up, he steals one of the tag teams out of their truck, then he goes into their house and does this Indiana Jones ass. He's taking a weight and
it was. You need to watch it because, like I said, you were engaged in like what was going to happen,
but it was also like, what the fuck is happening right now?
Mm-hmm.
But I'll give you 30 seconds here.
I'll play this.
Kind of like what this whole deal was.
Oh. Cecil, you were a little pain in my ass, you know that.
Front door.
I think it said spam likely.
Okay. Oh, that's just repeating. Don't do that.
You want to get on faces?
Seesaw, come on. Do what? What'd you say?
You want to get on our faces?
Oh, yes.
But then we get to, which I didn't take that off. That's weird, but okay. We got a promo with Ace Austin and Troy Miguel backstage, and Ace is like he's kind of hitting stuff, and he's like, I've been over it, and Trey comes in and he's like, that's my brother. That's just like your brother. We've been teaming up in and out every night, and they're gonna take Zach out, and they keep getting away with it. Somebody needs to do something about it, and we've been trying, and they got the numbers. They got the numbers. So what do? Who do we call? And like, I ain't got nobody to call. I can't call Bay. Or if Ace says I can't call Bay. You got anybody else? I don't think I do, honestly.
And Trey's like, I do. You know, got a contact info I just happened to have pulled up right here. And he, calls up the phone. He says, hey, system dumbasses. And he shows the
phone.
It's Sean Whitman.
And if you don't know, it's X-Pac, 1-2-3 Kid. He's gone by usually, but X-Pac was his most popular one.
Mm-hmm. And he pokes at the phone. He's like, "Hey, yo, OG, yeah, this is that call." And that's the end of it. So I guess we're gonna see him next week on TNA, going up against the system.
But I didn't even cover this. It really was completely pointless.
Yeah, this was the only match I was like, okay, I guess.
Because Tessa Blanchard's a little...
Yeah.
And won't wrestle anybody decent unless she's paid enough.
Yeah.
Sound like somebody else we know?
Yeah. But she goes up against a jobber, and, I mean...
They only said her name. They never showed her name, like, on screen.
Yeah.
They only said it, and it was like Cara Karsten or something like that.
And, we've never heard of this lady before. So I hate to call her a jobber, but that's what she was, essentially.
But Tessa wins.
Someone to throw in there and make Tessa look good, basically.
But
she didn't even look good.
The thing is, Tessa wins, and then Masha Slamovich comes out and just starts beating her ass. Like, got her in a Clamora lock.
Yeah. Raking on that arm.
Oh, yeah. She was raking on that arm, man.
Throws her out of the ring. And then security comes in. Hats off to Tess. She starts beating security's asses. Boom!
Masha?
Yeah, Slamovich.
Yeah. I thought she said Tessa first.
I might have. I don't know.
But yeah, Masha taking out security.
And like I said, that is one thing I love about Slamovich. Because even in the mixed tag team match with Joe Hendry, she was ready to fight.
Yeah.
She was like, Come on, hit me. I'm gonna hit you right back 10 times harder. And it was. I look forward to when we can see that. But anyway. Then we have Steve Macklin promo. He's at a campsite, sitting at a picnic table next to a fighter, writing in a little notebook.
Yeah, and I figured because that kind of sets what kind of goes on as it progresses, so I decided to put that in there. I didn't do it a lot, but when it needed to be, I was trying to do. Because here again, like I said, these are like little movies. You can't just say backstage.
Yeah.
You have to kind of like set this
scene
up.
They're in a scene. Eric Young walks up, holding 2 like red Solo cups and what looks like alcohol. And he says, "If it wasn't gonna be me, I wanted it to be you."
And then Steve's like, "I'd say the same thing for you."
We called this, didn't we? We said our paths were gonna cross one way or another. Looks like it's gonna happen again on Sunday. This time for the TNA International Championship.
And then Steve's like, "My TNA International Championship."
Eric says, "Think about how different things could have been, though. If you would have been concentrating on what you needed to do, knowing we had your back, everything could be different."
And Steve's like, I was trying to concentrate on me the whole time. And I took care of AJ at Unbreakable."
And Eric's like, "I don't want you to take this as some kind of ultimatum or a threat, but this will be the last time I offer this you. The last time." He doesn't say anything. He's like, "Okay, cheers to you."
And he grabs and hands him the cup, and they kind of do a little like cheer thing. And then Steve kind of gets up and he starts walking away. He's like, "I'll see you in LA."
Yeah. Steve walks away. Eric grabs the notebook, throws it in the fire, and then he says, "Your words, your feelings, your emotions, Steve, they mean nothing. This Sunday is going to be a religious experience for you, or for me and you."
And then we get the Ethan Page and Frankie Kazarian versus Elijah
And Jesus.
And I said this. And they were kind of messing with me with this, but I have to pull it up. I have to say it. He comes in there, and I mean, he's leaning this hurt rotator cuff. But if you watch WrestleMania,
He's fine.
if you watch NXT,
Yeah, he's fine.
I mean, he was like, what? I mean, I know he didn't like lift them, but it was the point. Like, look, I'm good. Look, see, what? And then he comes in there like every minute. It's like, really?
I guess punching the shit out of Trick Williams really did it in for him. But yeah, it was a great match, lots of back and forth. You could, like you said, you could tell Joe Hendry was hurting. Like they made it really, really clear. He had tape on the shoulder the whole night.
And like I said, I found it so amusing. I really did. And again, I know a storyline, but let's be consistent, okay?
Exactly.
Like,
You can't be consistent between 3 brands. That wouldn't make any sense. But yeah, words are hard.
it was a good match.
Yeah,
it
good
really,
match.
for what it was great. Joe Hendry and Elijah,
And honestly,
they're a great team.
but Elijah and Frankie Ethan Page. I don't know why the fuck I was thinking of Elijah. Ethan Page and Frankie, they were a great tag team too. Until the very end when Frankie was getting whooped. He goes to tag in Ethan, and Ethan hops off the rope and is like, "I don't need none of that."
Yeah.
So Elijah comes up behind him,
Rolls him up. Gets him in the what is it? The drifter.
the drift to sleep or something like that.
Something like that. It's a drifter thing.
Yeah.
I couldn't write it down.
Elijah
I forgot
Prince-
to go back over that match and kind of get everything.
Elijah Page, Frankie. And that's the end of TNA.
Now we got the rumors and stuff, which we might be able to pull this in 2 hours. I still think we probably need to do. We might be able to do it in 2 hours. I think we need to try to make it 2.5 hours. So. But news, rumors, kind of TNA stuff, WWE stuff. I really didn't find too much TNA stuff, but I did want to bring this up because this was actually I noticed this on TNA. Steve Mongo McMichaels has passed away at the age of 67 due to ALS. Because I'm not going to try. I will get that all kinds of butchered wrong. Athaporic lateral
amyotrophic lateral sclerosis.
Basically, Lou Gehrig's disease. How about that?
Yeah.
He died of Lou Gehrig's disease. Okay. So,
Yep.
shout out to...
And there are rumors that Triple A, also known as Alberto El Patron.
El Patron.
Yeah. It could be getting released from AA after WWE's acquisition of the company. There's conflicting stories on this this summer. Some are saying WWE wants to keep him because he's the current champion and maybe even move him to the main WWE roster. So we're not 100% sure.
Yeah, and I want to throw both of them out there because, I mean, they are, like...
conflicting, yeah.
So, basically, either one, throw your hand up and we'll see what happens.
Pretty much, yeah.
I did not like this, and a lot of people are, like, praising it. But, there's also talks of WWE to make Travis Scott and John Cena a tag team, possibly get the championship before John Cena retires.
No. Why? Travis Scott's never even been in a match. He shouldn't even be in a...
He's training to be a wrestler.
No. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of these famous people
who think they
buying their way into WWE with fame and money and thinking they can be superstars part-time because it's fun.
Well, the rumor is he wants to do this full-time. But again, here's a music career.
If he wants to do it full-time... Maybe.
Logan Paul says he's full-time. We actually calling what he does full-time.
No. Well, then again...
Roman Reigns says he was full-time, or says he's full-time. We calling that full-time?
No.
I mean, John Cena says he's full-time. We calling that full-time?
No. It's sad. But
then we have two different kind of Bianca things, and we kind of keep hitting on this.
I only saw the one Bianca thing.
Maybe I didn't put the other one on there.
Well, we have one thing of Bianca Belair, of her making her outfit.
Oh, no, I do have two Bianca things on there, because we looked it up. The other one.
Oh, the thing you showed me, yeah. But yeah, this is her making her outfit, because I know we were joking about it, but apparently she actually does make her outfits. I didn't know that.
At least a good chunk of them. I mean, because I know
Fair Fox. I thought it was like, oh yeah, she makes her own outfits, but fair enough. If she actually does, all the more power to her.
What was the other one? Did you pull it up?
I did, but I didn't think we were going to be pulling it up on...
And we don't necessarily have to pull it up. You can go ahead and just click on it. Don't click on the video of it.
Yeah, but this is her first tryout tape for WWE.
Well, you can just read the thing. If you want to watch her... Like, again, this was... I wanted to show Tafari, because like I said, he wants to become a wrestler.
But yeah.
But...
She says, from then to now, my first tryout, I had no idea how to take a bump. I didn't even know what a bump was, let alone what a promo was. I was so nervous. You can hear the quiver in my voice. I had no idea what I was doing. The only thing I knew how to do was be me, because there was only one me, and that was my way to stand out. Shout out to Mark Henry. So I wore my favorite Bros outfit I made for a CrossFit competition and show that I may not come from this business. I may not know much, but I will work my ass off, and I will love and respect this business if I was given a chance. As first, I always felt like I was stealing someone else's dream, so I threw myself wholeheartedly into this. I dealt with imposter syndrome for a long time. I always felt like I had something to prove. Now, I know exactly who I am. I know how much hard work I put in. I know my worth no matter what, and I know everything I've gotten and haven't gotten yet is mine. Dream big. Do things you didn't even know were meant for you. You never know. It might change your life and others along the way.
And then it just shows like her first little promo that she did, which you can watch. It's fantastic.
For a first promo, it's actually really damn good.
Yeah, but it's good to see
that you're not gonna start off A+. You're gonna, at best, you're gonna start off DC.
At best.
And that's
But
a
here's
good.
what I'm saying. I'm going to say probably, and I might be throwing it out there, but seeing LG, probably a good 90% of them promos were like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, some of your promos, some of you will be great at it just off the bat. That's what you're good at. Some of you won't be so good at it. We're not getting to that yet.
But,
Actually, I don't think I even showed that, but I read it, so it's fine.
But here's the thing, too. There's some reports coming out for Backlash that one of the rumored matches is Roman and Punk versus Braun and Seth. Because now you gotta have them team up.
I'm so tired of this pissing contest.
You know the main.
When are they gonna? Are they just chugging water while pissing? Is that how it's? Because I mean, you gotta run out eventually, man. Please.
And then I actually kind of called this one.
Orton versus Cena. That's an obvious one.
Yeah. And then this is just so disrespectful to whoever you are, whatever.
Logan Paul revealed that he and his team offered Stone Cold Steve Austin $1 million to wear a Prime Bottle costume at WrestleMania 41, but Austin turned it down. And like I've said, I don't know, I'm not Stone Cold Steve Austin, but $1 million? That is a lowball offer. I'm just going to say that right now. Logan Paul has he stole like $200 million from his fans alone. So we know he has a hell of a lot more than that. $1 million is a low ball offer. I wouldn't take it for $100 million, but that's besides the point.
And we broke.
Yeah, we broke
Exactly.
bitches. I wouldn't take that offer for $100 million.
Unless the Prime Bottle got to beat the hell out of
And
it.
unless I'm like ringside at the match, and then I'm gonna be in jail, and I can pay off my bail, so it's fine. But anyway, moving on.
But this is something I kind of I'm at a loss for this because I love the D'Angelo family, and I want what's great for him because I kind of got invested in their story.
Yeah, he's great.
But we called it earlier.
Why would you want to move up?
Yeah, I figure like that's great, it's fantastic that they want you to move up to the main roster. But again.
Yeah. For
your
what?
Your story is better.
Yeah. Like, if you do go up to the main roster, your story is not going to be as good. And I hate this. And that's why I'm not worried, that's the wrong word, but worried for anyone who goes up to the main roster, because I don't feel like they're going to shine nearly as well. Because here's the thing. When you go to the main roster, if you are... Say Stephanie Vakir goes to the main roster. She's not going to shine nearly as bright as she does on NXT because the competition on the main roster just isn't as good. So it's just going to look like she's breezing through everybody.
So you gotta lower her down.
Yeah, then you have to lower her down. Whereas on NXT, all of the women down there are phenomenal. But she's even more phenomenal. So she shines like she should.
Again, like I said, Asuka was.
Exactly.
So I'm as much as I want to see Tony D'Angelo go up to the main roster, it worries me. And that's why I really genuinely hope they make NXT the third brand. Because at that, it's just better. Like we've said time and time again, it is simply better.
And then we got Bailey on Discord.
Yeah, and she talks about wanting to explore every possible path in WWE. She said, I want to be able to do everything because there's so many different things that we could do in this crazy world. To not try different avenues and work with as many people as possible, I just want to do it all.
So, I thought that was kind of cool. Like,
on a possible romantic angle in WWE, I don't know how accurate that is, but...
Who would it be?
I have no fucking idea. Genuinely. Dirty Dom. He seems to be getting all the fucking... I don't know.
Considering he's married to his high school sweetheart, they've been together like... Actually, I think it was even like they met either in junior high or like first high
he's
school.
already dating Liv, so he was dating Rhea before that.
It's
so.
storyline dating.
I know, but
yeah.
I'm saying, like, I don't know. I don't see Bailey getting into a romance. That seems wildly out of character. But anyway,
This is what Knight Rider brought up. Or I brought up to him before you got home today. I want you to think about this. Rusev, Seth.
you skipped over the John Cena.
Oh, John Cena Discord. Go ahead.
Yeah, the first trailer for Heads of State, an action film starring Idris Elba and John Cena as the UK Prime Minister and US President, directed by Ilya Nashholler.
He did.
He's made Nobody and Hardcore Henry. Released in July on Prime Video, and of course John Cena.
We're not gonna. Don't
Yeah,
worry
we're
about
not
it.
gonna go through that, but
of
course,
it's
John
where
Cena-
John Cena's been.
of course John Cena's the president. Cause, anyway,
We go back to our faces. Because you're not on the video.
I am.
Okay. But we got Rusev, Seth, Becky, and Breaker all listed as heels on the WWE roster.
I figured that. Yeah.
So, just throwing this out there. Could that be the stable with Heyman?
I mean, Becky, I see absolutely. Rusev, possibly, but I don't. Because it's his return.
Rusev has always kind of had a mouthpiece, though.
That is true. We've never really heard him.
He talks.
But
he
he's
seems
always
better
had Lana with him.
Yeah.
So, maybe, but at the same time, especially with how long it's been, especially with how not different, because he still uses the same moves and stuff, but I don't know, I could see him going out on his own, especially since he's returning, and I don't know if they'd want to shove him into a faction.
Well, so is Becky.
Yep.
I guess that's true, but she's going in with Seth, and I think the main reason she's going in with Seth, at least my opinion, is to make that heel persona stick.
For both of them.
Yeah. Well, Seth has been a heel before. He'd have no problem being a heel, but I know, like we said last time Becky tried to be heel, it didn't work. So I think the reason they'd bring Becky in with Seth and Heyman and Breaker is so that the audience doesn't have a choice but to accept Becky as a heel. Rusev, maybe not.
I personally like Rusev. I want them to make him a face. I think he did better as a face. He's a good heel.
Yeah.
But I think Rusev Day was freaking great. And I know WWE is saying they don't want to do Rusev Day, but I think that's a big
But
loss.
they're
on
going to
them.
be forced to
I
go back
do
to
think
Rusev
I
Day.
think they're going to be forced, yeah.
I want to see, like we said last time, I think they don't need. I don't think they need another guy. I think they need another woman. Cause hear me out.
I agree.
Like you said, they go and take the men's tag team championships. They take the women's tag team championships. Maybe they even take the well, they're not going to take the United States Championship from Jacob Fatu, but maybe they take the Intercontinental Championship from Dom, or anything like that.
But tonight, because this is Friday, we got the TLC match for the tag titles: Street Profits versus Motor City Machine Guns versus DIY in a TLC match. This is going to be great.
Maybe.
I hope.
Oh, I bet it's going to be awesome.
Cena's advertised. Cody's advertised.
Which, hold on. How much crap are we going to get?
Oh my god, I don't want to. I'm already not looking forward to it. Because it's going to be like 20, 30 minutes of. Yeah, pretty much.
Blowing smoke. That's all they're going to do. Up each other's butt.
Up their own butts.
Yeah, whatever. But we do have a possible,
exactly.
and I say possible because again, everybody is saying it, but I just want to be out there and I 100% hope it is. But we have Black's return? Maybe.
What if we get Asuka back tonight, too?
Oh, there's supposed to be a couple surprises tonight. There's rumor we're going to get the Wyatts. Again, there's been no
No
spoiler,
spoilers.
glitches or anything saying we're getting a definite return.
Mm.
So, but some people are saying that it's possible.
Right.
It is possible that Alexa makes her return tonight, possibly even leading the Wyatts, which I don't know. There's rumors that Jeff Cobb is backstage for tonight, which I think we talked about him a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm.
There's rumors of some NXT call-ups, which we talked about D'Angelo,
Lola Vice,
Trick Williams, and Ethan Page. Which, here's the thing. Ethan Page, I do not see.
No.
And it's nothing against Ethan Page. But he's got a couple storylines going on right now.
Yeah, like he's in the middle of a story in NXT, in the middle of TNA.
Lola Vice and Trick Williams. I think Trick Williams kind of done with his story.
Right.
Lola Vice kind of is done with her story. But I want to go over this, and I don't necessarily want to go over it fast. So I'm going to let you two figure out something to talk about, because I got to go take a pause. I've been holding it.
Okay, we'll go.
Real quick, if nothing else, talk about, I don't know, NXT call-ups, and cause there's a couple we've talked about. But I'll be right back.
I mean, honestly, I could see, not a call-up, but I could see Stephanie showing up again
tonight.
No, she was on Raw. She probably wouldn't show up tonight.
Well, you never know.
Oh, against Io again! This time for a title!
Io's
Yeah?
on Raw! I mean, I guess they can really show up wherever they want, but I don't see that tonight.
Oh, I do.
I would love to see Oba come up for any reason. I feel like he'd make everyone in the main roster shit themselves.
Exactly.
But
And I mean, we got JD McDonough too.
oh yeah, that's on Raw as well, aren't they? Yeah, the
Yeah, but that don't really matter.
That's true.
Judgment Day goes wherever they want to go.
I mean, they all kind of go wherever the fuck they want nowadays. It doesn't really matter.
So I mean, what if he does show up tonight on SmackDown?
Yeah.
Just to have a match.
Like I said, I'd love to see JD get a title. He deserves it after what he went through. Damn.
Yep.
I mean, the fact that he's back so soon is honestly...
Exactly. That's what everybody else is saying
It's
too
been,
online.
What, 3-4 months, maybe?
Yeah.
So,
If that. But no, that's what they're talking about right now too, is JD McDonough. We didn't get no spoilers on him coming back.
Nope, he just popped up.
And that's what they're hollering about. They're like, okay, you give us spoilers for everybody else, but yet JD McDonough comes back during a pay-per-view.
Hey, fair plus.
We didn't get no spoilers,
Nobody
no
knew
nothing.
that. Like, that was a complete surprise. So this is why I want to talk about this. This is me spitballing.
Mm-hmm.
We got TNA Rebellion, which is Sunday, which again is really weird for me. Because we have TNA Plus. We pay $10 a month to watch TNA Plus. Because it's just easier on us than trying to... Because at first, we have YouTube TV, which doesn't even get the channel that we need. And then Charter has it, but yet it only records like once in a while, and I don't understand why. Yeah. It's like the only thing I have. So I went ahead and purchased TNA Plus to watch.
And then Rebellion is an extra $40.
But I do want to look into that because I think if you pay for the whole year,
it comes with it.
It comes with it because they only do 4 pay-per-views a year.
Yeah.
They have Rebellion, Slammiversary, which is the next one, which is like July.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I can't remember all of them. I looked them up.
Yeah.
But anyway, Elijah, open challenge. Now, I want to throw something out there, and nobody's talking about this.
Well, throw it and see if it sticks.
So I'm going to make, I guess, a little prediction.
Mm-hmm.
We had an open challenge at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of not their Mania because it's kind of Slammiversary. It's like their Mania.
Mm-hmm.
But we had Joe Hendry show up during an open challenge.
Yeah.
At Mania.
I could see it being someone from NXT or even the main roster.
Elijah does an open challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Who has Elijah been tagging with lately?
Joe Hendry,
Who did Joe Hendry fight at Mania?
Randy Orton.
Who shows up to take the open challenge? You get where I'm going? And then Hendry
Randy
kind of
Orton.
shows up and
Mhm.
may not get revenge, but gets revenge.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
You know,
I could see that.
I think that'd be a nice little story angle.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's no rumors of that, but I am making a prediction here. If it happens, fantastic. If it don't,
CK called it.
if it don't happen, then it was a good idea.
Yeah, exactly. You called it. I mean,
But
Then we have Zaya Brookside and Lei Ying Lee and Rosemary versus Fatal Influence.
and then we have the ladder match, which was Vikingo, Leon Slater, Moose, Matt Cardona, Stony Akeem, and KC Navarro, and that is a ladder match, which I found kind of interesting. Moose is terrified of heights,
yes.
But
Most
he
definitely.
beat
but he
Jeff
did beat Jeff Hardy in a ladder match
in his
for
first ever ladder match. Yeah, so.
I'm kind of anxious to see that one.
Yeah, me too.
Then we
Because
have,
I think the Moose being afraid of ladders is definitely going to come into, or being afraid of heights is definitely going to come into play.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
And again, you have to remember, a ladder match is no disqualifications.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
So
the
the
system's
system is going to
gonna get involved. 100%.
get involved.
That's the
Yep.
same one.
They're going to try to get involved.
But then we have Joe Hendry versus Ethan Page versus Frankie Kazarian for the TNA World Title.
Then we have the TNA Knockouts World Championship, Masha Slamovich versus Tessa Blanchard,
Tessa's gonna get her ass.
which I want Masha Slamovich to just beat the living out of Tessa. But
Yes,
again,
most
if
definitely.
we are going by rules of WWE, I guess, because it's the only rules I really have to go on for like pay-per-views and stuff.
Blanchard got the last.
Well, Masha got the last
Yeah.
hit, and Tessa was left laying on the ramp. So
We'll see.
I do not. I'm gonna make this clear. I do not want Tessa to win. I know that there is controversy around her. I do not care necessarily about that controversy. I am more or less looking at the character she portrays in the ring.
And like I said, her name fits her perfectly. She is an undeniable diamond. Overrated, overhyped, overpriced, and not nearly as pretty as she thinks she is.
Exactly.
We got into that conversation last night. But like I said, guys, we were kind of talking that. I'm sorry if you think diamonds are this great fancy thing.
They're not.
But
They're
here's
too
the thing.
expensive.
Find a show. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. Called Adam Ruins Everything. And I'm gonna hype this up a little bit. Watch the show Adam Ruins Everything. Diamonds. Diamonds lose like 90% of their value the minute you even buy them.
Yep.
Yeah, they're worthless. Anyway, they're shiny rocks. But we go to Mike Santana versus Mustafa Ali. Falls count anywhere. Oh, Ali is gonna get his ass whooped.
But you got to remember, he's got his little group too. And that's why I said Mike Santana, the AA group needs to get involved in it.
Oh yeah, that'd be dope. And like tossing them steel chairs. Oh, I'd love to see that.
And I think that this needs to be like the AA group. I'm not saying that any of them are wrestlers. They could all be ringside and just when the other ones, I'm sure it'll be staged. I mean, I'm not sure it will be. It will be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But you know, where like Ali's little group, the girl and all that, jump in and start interfering in the match.
Mm.
And the lady that was in the promo for Mike Santana,
Yeah,
you know,
they come in, you know.
smacks the black lady, I can't think of her name off the top of my head, hits her, you know,
And it
takes
just
her,
comes out, you know, they start fighting outside ring
Yeah.
and leave them two in the middle of the ring. That'd be dope. Then we have Eric Young versus Steve Macklin for the international title. I feel like that's going to be a really good match.
Ugh.
I feel like they're both great wrestlers. They have some history.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I agree. I think that's going to be a pretty good match.
Then we have the TNA Knockout... Bleh, voice crack. TNA Knockouts Tag Titles. Ash and Heather versus Last Legend and Jakara Jackson versus Spitfire versus Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley.
And again, I want you to think about this. You've got Ash and Heather, who are TNA. Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, which are NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Spitfire, which are TNA. You have Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley, which are NXT.
Yep.
So this is going to be a show.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
This is going to be a phenomenal match.
And the reason I say that, and I love Spitfire. I think they are great.
I want to see them come out on top, but...
Again, I know it sounds bad, but I would love to see Gigi Dolan, Tatum Paxley, or even Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. And the reason I say that is because I think it'd be really, really cool if they're trying to kind of like meld the meld the two together, but they're all competing for titles on each other's shows. Like Moose came on.
But here's the thing, though. Is we haven't had a title change company yet, and I feel like the first time that happens is going to be a massive deal. So
but it needs to happen.
It does need to happen. I just don't think it's going to be this match specifically.
I agree, but I'm just saying it needs to happen.
Yeah, it does,
Yeah.
and it's going to eventually. I just don't know what match.
And I don't feel like we've got that match yet.
We have not. Absolutely not.
Maybe we get a Joe Hendry versus Oba.
I'm sorry, Joe Hendry, but I can't believe in you anymore. I can't believe in you going against Oba.
Jesus versus the Ruler.
Yeah.
My vote's on the Ruler.
But then we have
Or
the Hardys.
even, you know what would be even...
Jacob?
No. Stephanie Verkier versus Slamovich.
That might be pretty cool.
Anyway.
Those two are on a different level, too.
Yeah.
But you have the Hardys and the Nimbus, and that's for the tag titles also.
Yep. And that is it.
And I think that is it. And we did it in what? A little over 2 hours.
A little under 2 hours, but yeah. Still.
So I feel like...
I think 2 is pretty good, yeah.
We're going to go ahead and try to do 2. If we wind up going over, we might be okay. But if there winds up being a bunch, we might wind up trying to jump in a half hour, but I don't think we're going to need to worry too much about it. But this was a test run.
I think it went pretty well.
And again, like I said, I'm sorry that if you are like wondering why we were an hour early.
We just wanted to make sure we had time, and we did, so.
Yeah. Because trying to go over, it's sad that we can go over 2 shows that are probably better.
Mm-hmm.
In the time, and the reason is, I think, because although
all of their stuff is condensed,
the promos are not as long.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to read 20 minutes worth of promo, and then 20 minutes of commercials.
Exactly.
It's a better product, guys. Both of them.
Yep.
And it's sad
by far.
It's sad that I have to say NXT is the premium show when they're really not. But
Exactly.
they are. But alright, so we'll be back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat, well, not this same bat time, same bat channel, but the other one. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 to 5, doing our normal SmackDown, but we're going to add Evolve into it because we'll watch that here in a couple hours from Wednesday. Because like I said, we still have not watched that yet because we just...
Wednesdays are very full.
So we're... Wednesdays and Thursdays are full. We don't have much time. Oh, also something I did want to bring up and that I did forget before I do forget. If you watch TNA, they are going to be an hour late next week.
Yeah.
They're starting at 9
Enough.
instead of 8. Or
Eastern, yeah.
yeah, or instead of... Yeah.
Yeah. You got it right.
So it'll be 8 instead of
9.
instead of 8 for us. Instead of 7 for us, it'll be 8. No.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's gonna be an hour late wherever you are.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's about it from us, guys. If you made this far in the stream, go ahead and give us a follow so you get notified whenever we go live, talk about wrestling or playing our board games, whatever we're doing.
Which we are on that Wednesday. We're only gonna have Danger has to go have some stuff done. We'll leave it at that. She has surgery coming up. So we've got 2 more streams with her, and then she's probably gonna be out for a month-ish. At least 2 to 3 weeks. But they told her to take it easy for like a month.
Yeah.
So we're going to probably cut out our Thursday for a month or so. But that we got like 2 weeks. But we are going to play. She wants to play what we played yesterday. If you didn't watch the stream, the Buy Everything.
Yep, for Monopoly. That was really fun.
So we're going to play that again. And then the following week, the week before she goes into her surgery, which we got, if you watched our stream, which we had somebody request, so we decided to do it.
Monopoly Cheaters Edition. What can you get away with? Get caught, get cuffed.
So we're going to be playing this in 2 weeks. So, yeah, they even have little handcuffs that you get locked up. And yeah, it's definitely going to be
interesting,
and you can literally like steal from the bank. You just can't get caught.
Yep.
You can steal properties. You just can't get caught. You get caught. If you can get away with it, like they take their turn, whatever. Like I think it's within a turn. You get away with it. Somebody like sitting there like, I thought I had Boardwalk. No, I do, but I bought it. I got it.
Yeah.
You cheated. You got it. You now own Boardwalk.
Yep, pretty much. All right, guys.
Exactly.
But if you're watching us and you, blah, 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 blah.
So better hold on tight to your shit.
Yep. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell us what you did, like, what you didn't. If you want to chat with us, go ahead.
I want to know what you
Discord.
like. I don't care what you didn't like. Come keep it in.
Shut up. If you want to chat with us, go ahead and join our Discord server. If you want to help support us, press that donate button in the About Me
Press
section.
the button.
But that's about it. I'm Tofari.
I'm CK.
And I'm Knight Rider. Have a good night. See you
See
next
ya.
time.
But yeah, okay. So we can do it about